I am frustrated right now. I came down to my greenhouse this morning ready for a nice little morning of transplanting, hanging out in the greenhouse, getting my hands dirty. And what do I see almost immediately? Something. Some rodent, most likely, has eaten hundreds of my seedlings. It sucks. I'm not quite sure what it is. I've had no signs of rodent activity or rodent damage in my greenhouse until this morning. But they came in and they nipped the tops off of hundreds of pepper plants that had just started to sprout yesterday. Literally yesterday had poked their heads up out, and now they are all chewed off. Just those first two teeny tiny little leaves gone. It's incredibly frustrating. I'm going to set a whole bunch of traps tonight before I go home for the evening. And I'm going to hope to catch them. It's the best I can do. I might put down some things to try and deter as well. But I've got to stop this. I mean, they did over $100 of damage, maybe several $100s of damage in one night. That's hard. That's a problem with farming right there, is that things completely out of your control can steal hundreds of dollars of profit right off the bat. You know, I'm going to replant, of course. I'm going to take a couple days. I'm going to see what the true damage is, how many come up versus how many I planted, and I'm going to replant. My replant's going to be 2 weeks behind. That sucks. That's rough. That's hard to deal with. All right, let's take a look at it. All right, so hopefully you can see this. Some of our plants have tiny little leaves, and some now are just stems. The leaves chewed right off. Absolutely unbelievable. And I can tell it's a rodent. Look, another tray. It's got little rodent-sized holes, drilled, dug, whatever, where they tried to pull stuff up. And just on these two trays where things are just starting to bloom, things are just starting to come up. And then they dug where I had planted some seeds just a couple days ago, a couple little holes there. So this is what a tray should look like right now. And this is what my tray does look like after being attacked by those voles. If I don't get a hold on this quick, and I mean like now, today, if I don't stop this pretty much immediately, it could be completely catastrophic for my farming operation early in the season. I have to get on top of it right now. And I'm going to do a whole bunch of different things to try and control this infestation. So I've got a few options for how to deal with this situation. First, I can try and deter. I have in the past used blood meal and spread that around the edges of my tunnels. Prey animals do not like the smell of blood meal. They don't like the smell of blood. And sometimes that'll warn them off. However, once they've figured out that there is food in a place, especially early spring where a lot of those creatures are hungry, it's sometimes very hard to warn them off in that kind of way. Second way would be putting humidity domes over my sensitive trays at night. But humidity domes, I don't have any right now. And also that's a deterrent that might not work 100% of the time. Third way is trapping, and that's probably what I'm going to have to go with. I know some people don't like that, but I can't afford to keep losing my crops, to lose, several weeks of my paycheck, really, letting these things run rampant. I have to get them, and I kind of have to get them now. So I've gone to the hardware store. I've bought some traps that I will set up at the end of the day today. I won't go into detail about it. I don't think we need to go into detail about all that. I mean, that's just the thing of it, is it's got to get taken care of one way or another. Out in the field, I don't mind sharing a little bit. I don't really care when, you know, chipmunks get the first few cherry tomatoes, or you know, something chews off some of my squash, or that kind of things, or the, you know, the birds peck at a little bit of my corn. I don't mind sharing a little bit. You got to be okay with that to be a farmer or a gardener, that the critters are going to get a little bit. But my tender little seedlings, that's a whole different issue, right? They're not just eating one cherry tomato or one piece of something. They're eating an entire plant that I can't replace right away. You know, I have to start that seed again. It's really tough. It's really tough. I'm not a huge fan of it, but, you know, I've worked really hard on all this, and I can't just let it go to waste. I can't just let it get eaten up by critters. So I'm going to trap, and I'm going to do the best I can to do that. And usually in the past, that's worked for me. And next year, I will have to put some deterrents down from the get-go. It's just one of those really hard parts about being a farmer. There are things that you can't control that can really affect your operation, can affect your livelihood, and can come seemingly out of nowhere. Pests like this, disease, lots of things, really.